Russell and Dave Brown right along ringside, all ready to go with what looks like a spectacular show. Boy, we got some wrestling today, Dave.
Boy, we do indeed. Got tons of it. We got Jeff Jarrett coming in here in the opening match. Later on, you'll see Adrian Street and the superstar Bill Dundee. Yep. Tracy Smothers will be here. Dutch Mantell and Rick Morton will be on the card here today. The Japanese team, Shogun, Samurai, Jimmy Golden, Frankie the Thumper Lancaster, Wendell Cooley, and Jerry the King Lawler, all of them here today.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I love that expiration of time match that we've got down there, because that ought to be some son of a gun to see in there with Wendell and Jerry going against the Beauty and the Beast, right?
That should be a good one.
Oh, boy, we got it all. So I'll tell you what we're going to do is get ready to go with the opening match here. We're going to ring the bell. I'm sorry, I had to leave there for a minute. And we're going to start it out with some action right here. Here comes former light heavyweight champion, Jeff Jarrett. Dave?
Jeff steps into the ring. He's going to be going against the Shadow. The Shadow out of parts unknown. He outweighs Jeff. The Shadow weighs in at about 229 pounds. Jeff weighs in at 207. Out of Hendersonville, Tennessee, Jeff Jarrett set to do battle with him in a one-fall, 10-minute time limit match. Jerry Calhoun, the referee. There's the signal from him, and we're underway.
Bell time is sounded, and the Shadow, a brand new wrestler we haven't seen before, backed into the corner by Jeff Jarrett. He holds it up. The referee calls for a clean break and gets same. Boy, Jeff really looks in great shape, doesn't he? This guy works as hard to stay in condition as anybody I know.
He does, and staying in shape like that keeps the speed. He's fast, one of the quickest wrestlers in the ring in the world.
Hey, I'll tell you something that has been interesting. We saw him from the very beginning, back when he was a referee, as a matter of fact. And to see the weight and the bulk that he started to pull on now. He's up to, what, 207, 208 now.
Right, about 208.
Goes down, takes him down, goes behind, has him waist locked, and looks like he's getting ready to turn him on an amateur move. Comes up into an arm bar, tight at the shoulder. Jeff Jarrett, the Shadow, in our opening bout of many today on Championship Wrestling.
Great move by Jeff as he just sat down on that upper arm. The Shadow trying to break out of the hole. Jeff right back to it, has barred the arm now. Shadow back up on his feet. Jeff continues to work on the left arm.
Hang it on, turns it over one more time, and now an attempted reversal, but Jeff right back on top of it. Backs the Shadow into the rope. Whip in, and a big elbow in the upper arm actually takes him down 1-2, but that's all he got out of it.
You got to stay alert in a wrestling match. The Shadow, when he tried that reversal on Jeff, immediately Jeff reversed him back. If you kind of relax a little bit, you're not paying attention to what your opponent is doing, you can get yourself in trouble real quick. Jeff didn't let that happen.
Up top with a top wrist lock, and Jeff Jarrett giving away a little height to the Shadow in there. It's a difficult hole to work with. The Shadow takes it around behind into a hammerlock. Jeff moves underneath, comes in, takes him down, small package, 2. He got it.
It was 2 minutes, 7 seconds, and Jeff Jarrett comes through with a nice victory over the Shadow.
Good-looking move and a great win for Jarrett, and we've got more of it today. Timeout. Be back in a moment. Okay, to the ring right now, and the new Hollywood Blondes with their director, Hollywood Hall, is in there with them. It's the first time we have seen them. This is the new Hollywood Blondes. And we'll get our first crack at looking at them. Boy, they've got the attire.
Well, they sure do. And,
look at this! Talking about attire.
The exotic one, Adrian Street. Into the area. His partner already steps up into the ring.
So imagine what I could do to you.
You know, and what amazes me, Dave, every time I see Adrian Street or think about it, this guy is tough, brother. He can wrestle. Came up in that basic English school, man, and he can go, but he'll sure fool you. Go ahead.
All right, this match is going to be one fall, 10-minute time limit. Introducing out of Hollywood, California, with their director, Hollywood Hall. Total weight 483 pounds, the new Hollywood Blondes. And going against them at a total weight of 435 pounds, from the Royal Forest of Dean, the exotic Adrian Street. His partner out of Australia, the superstar, Bill Dundee. This match one fall, 10-minute time limit. Referee, Jerry Calhoun.
Okay, everybody's unclothed to speak. And here we go. It'll be the superstar starting against the shorter of the two Hollywood Blondes. I guess we designate him as number one since he started out.
I suppose so, yeah. Hollywood Blonde number one against the superstar. This ought to be a good match. The Hollywood Blonde, the new Hollywood Blonde. Boy, if they're anything like the old Hollywood Blondes, stand by.
Well, the first thing they aren't quite as big as the old Hollywood Blondes.
This is true.
But that doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot. Oh, Adrian Street. He planted one right on the Hollywood Blonde number one. Takes him around behind. Look at that move. Hooks him back again, and he's got him dizzy from going around on him. Couldn't see it exactly, but he used his foot some way.
Yeah, I think he did. He left him for Bill Dundee, who comes in now after the tag. Bill, round behind, knee to the back, pulls back on the chin. And Hollywood Blonde number one is in serious trouble here, it looks like.
Now, Dundee just throws him into the corner and says, tag that guy.
Tag him, he said, yeah.
Want some of him. Get a look at both of the Blondes. Dundee, beautiful move. Went behind on the waist lock, picked him up and took him over and down. And Dundee tags out to the exotic Adrian Street. Hollywood Hall, their director, is not too happy with the performance so far. The exotic one takes him down, stomps a little on the inner thigh, and now with a step over toe hold, moves in to put pressure on. And with a somersault, he rolled him right straight over to put that additional pressure on that leg. Hollywood Blonde number two catapulted up into the ropes, Dave.
Oh, he sure did. And then immediately he goes to work jumping up and down on the side of his head. We're 2 minutes into the action here as Adrian Streets over to the corner makes the tag on Bill Dundee. Dundee picked him up, body slammed him, and went right back to the corner to tag Street. Dundee fires Hollywood Blonde number two into the rope. Boy, vicious clothesline. He caught him about 3/4 of the way across the ring. Look at Street now.
He grapevines a leg and bridges on the back bridge and gets a 1, 2, 3 as the shoulders were firmly. Uh-oh! Beauty and the Beast hit the ring. Downtown Bruno right behind him. And they're kicking away in there. Boy, I'll tell you one thing. They didn't need to see that. Oh, look, here comes Miss Linda. I knew that she was coming in because they had a 6-man match. And look at that Linda. Hey, let me tell you, she can go too. She's got a hold of Downtown Bruno. Moves in on him, crotches him, dumps him down, covers him up. Beauty and the Beast are grabbing Bruno and pull him outside the ring. And reigning supreme, Dundee and the exotic Adrian Street with Miss Linda.
Absolutely. They got Bruno out of there just in time. The time of the match, 2 minutes, 26 seconds.
Boy, the last time they saw the Beauty and the Beast, they pulled some scissors out and snipped some of Dundee's hair, and that wasn't one thing that Dundee took too kindly to. What a great one in there. We'll tell you. For a fact, it was good to see Miss Linda in there with Downtown Bruno. Met his Waterloo, you might say, right there. Take time out, be back. We got more.
Big matches on the card. Evansville Coliseum Wednesday night main event return tag team match. Dirty Dutch Mantell and Rick Morton against Wendell Cooley and Jerry the King Lawler. A special penalty 6-man tag match. Here's how it works. If Adrian Street loses, Garvin gets his music rights. If Dundee loses, he gets his head shaved. If Downtown Bruno loses, he leaves town. If the Beast loses, the guys get 5 minutes in the ring with Garvin. If the Beauty loses, Dundee gets his suit back. If Linda loses, Garvin gets 5 minutes with her. The Beauty, the Beast in downtown Bruno against superstar Bill Dundee, Adrian Street, and the lovely Linda.
You people come on down to Evansville, because I guarantee you that we are going to take it to him. That Dundee's so old, he needs a new hairstyle, and I'm going to see to it that he gets it. He's trying to look like Elvis Presley. Well, Elvis is dead, and so's Dundee. Street, hey, I wrote that music, and I sang it. It's my music, so I'm going to win it. And that bimbo, Bruno's going to take care of her. You'll see.
CWA tag match on tap in Evansville. Robert Fuller, Jimmy Golden with the lovely Sylvia. They'll take on Tracy Smothers and Jeff Jarrett. Here come the champions
now. You know something, Robert, you know this Jeff Jarrett has got Tracy Smothers. He's had about everybody that you can think of to try to take our belts, let alone beat us in the middle of the ring. You'll never see that day, boy. You ought to be ashamed of yourself by now. You've had all kind of chances, all kind of partners to come out and take these titles from us. I don't think you can get the job done, son. When we get in Evansville, we're going to take you and your new partner, Tracy Smothers, brother, and we're going to show them what it's all about.
You know, Jimmy, there's a lot of talk about our stable being a revolving door and that guys come in and go out. There's also talk that I'm hard to get along with. Let me tell you something, baby. If you think I'm hard to get along with when you're working for me, try working against me. And that's what those boys are doing come Wednesday night in Evansville. They're working against what is now the stable. And the top of the line of the stable, the Tennessee Stud, is going to be extra hard to get along with in Evansville.
Okay, we just will get them in here and get our next one going. By golly, I'll tell you, we've had 2 matches already, and they've both been pretty substantial matches.
Been terrific action so far today, and looks like probably no let-up in sight with these two gentlemen. Uh-oh. I hear the music.
Yeah. That indicates that Oil Trough, Texas, #1 citizen, along with 4-time co-holder of the World Tag titles, Ricky Morton and Dutch Mantell, make their appearance.
There they are for a 1-fall, 10-minute time limit match. Across the way, Brian Lee out of Orlando, Florida, Scott Smith out of Nashville at a total weight of 251 pounds. And going against him at a total of 453 out of Oil Trough, Texas, Dutch Mantell. And from Nashville, Tennessee, Ricky Morton. This match 1 fall, 10-minute time limit. Jerry Calhoun falls for the bell. And tell you what, hold on with this one. Brian Lee, we've seen him wrestle many, many times, and of course, everyone's familiar with Dutch Mantell and Ricky Morton.
Well, Brian, while he didn't hold it the longest of anybody, he was at one time the CWA heavyweight champion. And so you know he's got to have something going for him.
Absolutely.
Dutch is finding it out right now. Hey, come on, Dutch, get back in the ring where you're supposed to be.
Boy, what an attitude.
Well, you got a nasty disposition. That's the only thing I can tell you. I know that will keep you awake all night. Somebody says something like that about you, he couldn't care less. Brian Lee, nice reverse. Boy, and he took it with authority, too. Brian's a big kid. He's got all the physical attributes in the world, Dave. Yeah. Tag on Rick.
Very tall, good athlete. Rick Morton coming in. Oh, yeah. Finally, Jerry Calhoun's able to get Dutch back out to the corner, so it's Brian Lee against Ricky Morton.
Big shoulder coming down from Brian, and hip toss, beautiful move. Boy, you know, Morton really has disappointed a lot of people, and I think we would be included among them. I don't know what in the world happened to Ricky's attitude. He came in here and he accepted the appointment as a referee in that match with Lawler and Mantell, and then ended up performing subpar, as they get. Hey, you listen, I'm telling you just exactly what happened, Dutch. Ricky popped Scott Smith, who took the tag in there. Scott nowhere near as large as Brian Lee and not as much experience either. Mantell a foot in the midsection. Morton was involved in Mantell in that Well, I was going to make a flat-out statement of that attempt to steal the unified heavyweight title as Morton counted him out with Lawler's foot on the rope. And he had already pushed it off twice before that. So there wasn't any question of saying I didn't see it. Tag back to Morton.
Move to the midsection. Scott Smith having a rough day here. Morton, where he dropped down, he's got the... Oh, yeah. Mantell, it's the way the world's champion does it. Right.
Stay tuned, Dutch.
Yeah. Here comes Dutch Mantell back into the action. They have been able to get Scott Smith in there and keep him in there now. They're just hammering on him, trying to keep him away from the tag on Brian Lee. Brian, the more experienced of the team.
Big snap suplex from the Dutchman. He drops down with an elbow. Boy, he's rougher than a cob. I'm telling you. Tag Ricky Morton. Morton, I mean, you can't take away one of the great high flyers of professional wrestling and all, but the attitude adjustment, boy, I got to tell you, he takes him over, and Scott Smith is down again. I don't know. There's been a lot of questions. The King, in a conversation I had with him, Dave, raised the question, what happened? How come he and Robert Gibson are teaming together? I mean, maybe it was this attitude thing before he ever came by here.
Could have been. That's true.
Know. Scott Smith out on the floor and takes a solid right from Mantell, while the referee is telling Morton to stay away from Brian Lee. Oh, yeah, you're going to help him back in. I got you, Dutch.
Yeah, thanks a lot, right?
Yeah.
Rick Morton picking Scott Smith up and body slamming him. Not trying for the cover here, just backs him under the ropes, tags Mantell.
Ooh, to the midsection, and Scott Smith lumps back down again. The Dutchman keeping him back. He's got that front chancery on him.
Smith
and
reaching for the tag, but Dutch kept him out of that corner.
Drove him away from, oh man, there's that short arm scissors, and boy, let me tell you, he killed him with that one. Absolutely. Tag on Ricky Morton. Morton comes in. He didn't even have to pick him up. He could have covered him right there. But he does a DDT on him, slams him down. 1, 2, 3, and that is it. Well, Scott Smith just not able to compete against Morton and Mantell and unable to get back. They kept him away from tagging Brian Lee. Brian started off the match very, very well against Mantell, and once Scott Smith got in there, they saw what they had, and they just kept him away from the corner, Dave.
Exactly. They kept him in there, beat him up 5 minutes, 1 second to time. Dutch Mantell and Ricky Morton get a win.
Yeah, they get the win, okay, and I'm sure they're proud of it. Okay, Dutch, fine. We got to take time out. We'll be back in just a moment.
Wrestling action coming to Hopkinsville, Kentucky on Thursday, February 16th, Convention Center at the Western Kentucky Fairgrounds. Tickets on sale at the Bargain Center, Greenville Road and East 7th Street. This coming Friday night, action in Madisonville, Kentucky at the Browning Springs Middle School. Make that. Tickets will be on sale night of the match. Wednesday night, Evansville, 5 big matches. Phil Hickerson opens up against Ken Wayne. Frankie Lancaster against Scott Steiner. CWA tag title match, Robert Fuller, Jimmy Golden with Sylvia against Tracy Smothers and Jeff Jarrett. Big return tag team match, Dutch Mantell and Rick Morton against Wendell Cooley and Jerry the King Lawler, and that special penalty 6-man tag match. If any of the six members of this tag match loses, there's a different stipulation, a different penalty that goes along with it. Beauty and the Beast with Downtown Bruno take on Superstar Bill Dundee, the exotic Adrian Street, and the lovely Linda. 5 big matches all coming up this coming Wednesday night at the Evansville Coliseum. Hope to see you there of those 5 matches, that big return tag and that big special penalty match.
Now, P.Y. Chu Hai, his whole Japanese juggernauts are out here with him. Shogun, Samurai, Tojo, and here comes the wild-eyed Southern boy.
Where the sun shines hot, where you learn to drop a book with just one shot. Well, boy, there's a right to become a man.
They got a on full. 10-minute time limit match coming up here. Out of Springfield, Tennessee, 229 pounds in the ring on the right, Tracy Smothers, and going against him at a total weight of 289 pounds from Jackson, Tennessee, P.Y. Chuhai, sometimes known as Phil Hickerson. He's got
you called it right.
He's got the Japanese team of Samurai Shogun at ringside, as Lance said, and Tojo has that kendo stick in the corner too. Tracy's Tojo is stationing them around the ring, so they pretty well got all sides of the ring covered here, looks like.
Referee Jerry Calhoun's trying to take care of that right now. This could be a doggone good match, Dave, if we don't get a lot of outside interference in there, you know.
I think that's probably the key. If we can keep Tojo and the Japanese team out of it, it should be a good one in the middle of the ring.
Hickerson standing side headlock on Tracy. Tracy shucks him off, catches him with a hip toss, and wheels him right out in the middle of the ring as Phil Hickerson may get a little more appreciation of the opponent that he has in there right now. No, he didn't have the tights. Of course, that's Yamamoto and Hickerson. They'll screen that, keep you off balance. Do not like Shogun Masamune and Samurai Shinji out here by this ring. Bad enough to have Tojo, but when you got three of them. And now the crowd saying, no, he did not, and he did not. Tracy Smothers may get a little sight going at him right there with him continually hollering about the tights.
Well, and Hickerson probably figures that he can keep working on the referee and maybe get that call, figuring that there's no way Tracy can move a 289-pounder around like that. No.
Chop, return with a fist up on top of the head.
P.Y. Chuhai, part of his wrestling attire, too, is a very well-taped right hand. You can see it right there.
And he uses that thing on that chop, boy. It's like hitting with a plaster Paris cast on your hand. Little test of strength in there. Tracy with very good height. He's a strong young man. That's not to say that P.Y. isn't. Whoa! Tracy returned the foot to the midsection and takes Hickerson down to his knees. Uh-oh, jabbed him right smack in the throat. And that ended that assault.
Sure did. That's one of the dangerous things about P.Y. Chuhai and anybody from the Tojo Yamamoto stable. Boy, they find a small opening, they are going to go for it and try to hurt you and take you out of the rest of the match. And that's what he was trying to do right there. And so far, it looks like it's working for him, as now P.Y. Chuhai is taking control. Chop across the center of the forehead. And here's Tojo with a kendo stick.
Popping away with the end of that kendo stick on Tracy Smothers, and you can see the welt where he hit him right on the back. He nailed him hard. And there's a big chop from P.Y. Goes to the ribs with that jab into the fingers, which is illegal. The chop is okay, but not the stab with the end of the fingers, and particularly with his hand taped up the way it is. He zeroes in, and look at Yamamoto. While the referee's backing P.Y. Chuhai away, Tojo rifles him one with that kendo stick, and now right back on Tracy Smothers. Oh. And a whip across the ring. Boy, there's that double hand right straight at the throat. Catches him with that cross, decks him down, picks him up, and Tracy foot in the midsection, but it doesn't stop.
Nope.
That little short back of the fist. And that's where that tape really helps, Dave.
Oh. He tried it once before. This time, Shogun tripped Tracy up as he came off the ropes. Referee talked to him about it. He folds his arms and, no, I didn't do a thing. I was behaving myself. Right.
Well, that's exactly what we were saying earlier. It could be a great match if they'll stay outside. Look at Shogun now. Just reaches up, pokes him in the eye, chops him right there at the bend on the ankle. the ring. Leapfrog from Trace. Oh! Caught him with that super kick right under the chin. Boy, a beauty. Yamamoto pitches in the kendo stick, clothesline him, and the referee saw it, Dave.
DQ on the stick and Tojo, but now look out. It's 4 against 1. They all jump Tracy now.
And Tracy's mama, not raising no crew, got out of that ring as quick as he could. And his hand is raised on the disqualification.
4 minutes, 39 seconds. Tracy with a victory.
4:39, and Tracy Smothers glad that he can walk out of there at all, but he walked out as the referee caught T.Y. Chu Hai using that kendo stick to clothesline him, and he got him good with it, too. And then he was joined by Shogun and Samurai, who jumped in there, and Yamamoto with his nickel's worth. So, at least it came out. Boy, this is one time I am glad to see Dutch Mantell and Ricky Morton, because I want to tell them something.
Now, wait a minute. You can't tell us nothing. You may ask us something, and we may tell you something. You're not going to tell us nothing, because what you're paid to do is stand here and hold this microphone, which is exactly what you're going to do. I am the new, for the uninformed, I am the world's heavyweight champion. Now, I want to read you something. I'll lay this right here. Now, Dave, don't try to touch it because I know you're jealous of it. You know, some headlines came out in the paper past week, and the national paper said, Lawler era over, Mantell, that's me, new world champ. That's what it said. In Louisville, it says Lawler contemplates suicide over loss to Mantell. And a Charlotte Observer said Mantell, new world champ. Lawler reportedly leaving the country, and Atlanta Constitution says, Wrestling World, look out. Mantell, new world's heavyweight champion. We're also going to have a National Enquirer and People magazine going to do a feature on us. But, you know, it's funny how things... No, don't tell us. No, we don't want to hear it. You know, a lot of things are going on. See, I beat Jerry Lawler for the world's belt. And then Ricky Morton, he beat Jerry Lawler, and it looks like the big king, hey, the paper was right. The era is over. The new era is here, and it's my era. Now they want some kind of a match, and we're calling it the San Quentin Showdown. You see these handcuffs right here?
I see him.
He's going to bring, Lawler's going to bring that bogus, low-life, egg-sucking dog Wendell Cooley in the ring, and they're going to take 3 handcuffs. There's 4 guys in a match going to take 3 handcuffs in there, and they're going to put a handcuff on each rope all around the ring. And what we're going to do, we're going to handcuff Wendell Cooley first, and we're going to leave the best for last. We're going to leave the big dethroned king. We're going to whoop him like the low-life dog that he is, and then we're going to handcuff him, and that means we win the match, plus after we get our hands raised, we get 2 minutes on them while they're handcuffed. Now, Ricky, you like that idea?
I sure do, Dutch. You know, Jerry Lawler come here telling all the world, baby, in his backyard, that he is the king, that he can't be beat. Well, we proved to you, Jerry Lawler, last week with Dutch Mantell, myself, beat you and Wendell Coolidge. We showed you what it was all about. Well, this week, brother, it's going to be your time to see what you can do with us. But you see, when it comes right down to nitty-grit, Dutch Mantell, Rick Morton don't take no. Ooh-wee.
Yeah, well, you guys just better stand here and listen, because I got something to tell you that you're going to be interested in. I'm telling you now, don't go running off. I got something to tell you in here that's very important, and it involves all going, hey, what can you do? Did I try to tell them or didn't I?
You tried to tell them.
I tried to tell them it had to do with the championship belt, and they wouldn't listen. Let me get that out.
They won't have any of that.
I was going to tell them it had to do a lot with some big money involved in it, too, but they wouldn't listen, would they? No, they wouldn't do it. So I guess maybe that what we'll just have to do is share the big news. Oh,
yeah.
I think they heard the word money. Yeah, they heard money.
Not money. I know what it is. It's a personal appearance that you want us to make us something for the big money.
Not
Ricky, what do we charge?
$5,000.
Well, that's not exactly what I had in mind. What I wanted to do...
You said something about money. Now, I ain't got all day.
Yeah, I know. I said something about money, and I said something about that. I'm going to ask Mr. Coffey, if he is out there, please bring in the official communication. We have heard from the Championship Committee of the Unified Heavyweight title, and Mr. Guy Coffey. Thank you, Guy. Here, let me read this to him out here. Okay. What has he got? He is the representative of the CWA with
Big deal.
Hey, big deal. Well, you just said, all right, I'm going to tell you what it has to say to CWA officials. This letter is to inform you that the World Championship Committee has reviewed the tape of the title match between Jerry Lawler and Dutch Mantell, in which Ricky Morton was the special referee. After careful consideration, the Championship Committee has ruled that Dutch Mantell's victory be overturned and nullified. Wait a minute, that's not all.
Wait a minute.
And that the championship revert back to Jerry Lawler immediately. Hey, wait a minute. Dutch Mantell is instructed to relinquish the world belt to the representative on hand, and furthermore, for his part in what was an obvious collusion, Ricky Morton has been fined $5,000. Hey, that's what it is. It has it right there. You heard what it says. It comes from the Championship Committee. Guy, that's the official communication.
I ain't giving it to nobody.
Give him the belt. You heard what it said.
Right here, you read this right here. It said, you will turn over the belt to me right now.
Right there.
You read that right there? That's what it says right there.
Instructed to relinquish it immediately.
It's right there, read it.
Can't you see
let me
it?
show you something here.
Hey, come on, Dutch. Now, don't start that stuff. Hey, Dutch, will you quit? Come on, Dutch. Now, quit that stuff. You're breaking the guy's glasses up like hey, that's ridiculous coming in here. Come on, Dutch. You guys, I'm telling you, these artists been fined $5,000. Comes out here and he broke his glasses right down here. Hey, Guy, I'm sorry about that. Stupid. You okay, Guy?
Yeah.
Boy, I got to tell you one thing. That shows you the kind of breeding those two guys got. I thought maybe Ricky Morton had a momentary lapse.
Let me just say this. Yeah, they're real tough. They can take somebody like Mr. Coffey's glasses and break them. That's all you can do. Let me tell you something, Mantell. You know now, you're not the champion. You never were the champion, brother, and we still got something in store for you.
Okay, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in just a minute.
We got Rodney Napper climbing up in the ring with Chris Frazier right now, set to go with tag team action, and they're coming back this time to be, though, officially in the ring rather than out here standing by. Oh, there.
Well, I'll tell you, it is just irritating. See it going on about that Mantell and Morton just burns me up. They pulled something, busted Mr. Coffey's glasses. No call for that. Okay, we got more troublemakers on our hand right here, Dave, and I'll tell you.
Tell you what, one fall, 10-minute time limit match. Out of Halls, Tennessee, Rodney Napper standing in the ring. His partner in the corner from Mississippi, Chris Frazier. Shogun Masamune and Samurai Shinji at a total weight of 530 pounds. Tojo Yamamoto in the corner, and also out here, P.Y. Chuhai.
Yeah. Well, these guys get that ceremonial sword out. I'm just delighted they didn't today.
Knocking the customs of these people here.
Knock it, yeah, but I've seen you swing that thing around.
It's a great honor for me to be the one to say, hey, I introduce these people to America, this tag team right here. So, brother, I'm not going to stand here and talk to you. I brought the best team. We are going to just dominate everything in the wrestling, especially around here. So all the guys are terrified of these guys. So we're just going to keep on, and we're going to keep on. Finally, we're going to give them the recognition they need. So I'm not going to be talking to you anymore. I'm going to give them my personal advice.
Yeah, great.
Some advice there for Tojo. Kendo stick across the back.
Boy, he is just killing Rodney Napper with that kendo stick. Coming over. Shogun Masamune kicks him right in the head. Tags Samurai Senji. And they double chop Napper. Buckled his legs, hip tossed him over, stomped down on him. Man, these two guys. And you know, the sad thing about it is, Dave, both of these guys have a great marriage of the Oriental martial arts and catch-as-catch-can wrestling. I've seen them now in about 4 matches, and they are dynamite. They don't need all of this stuff. But when you got somebody like Yamamoto and P.Y. Chu-Hai egging them on, you can see the kind of attitude they got. They didn't need much egging either.
Well, they got Chris Frazier in there now after working over Rodney Napper for a while. Tojo is shouting instructions in Japanese. Hickerson shouting some Japanese too. It looks like he's been to the Tojo Yamamoto school here.
Samurai stands him on his head in a big tall suplex and kicking down on Chris Frazier. Frazier and Napper just have not had a chance. Into the rope, and man, he turned him loose. What a chop he nailed him with. Tags Shogun Masamune, who is up on the ropes, and as he comes down, double chops Chris Frazier right straight down to the mat. Picks him back up again, and there's another tag. I believe they could get the pin right now. They have battered on him with such force. Shogun off the rope. There's that spinning back kick, and he kicked his brains out. Wow. 2, 3.
Well, it was just total. Hickerson, P.Y. Chu-Hai did call one thing right over here. He said they were going to dominate. Well, they dominated this match. There was almost total domination of this match. As first they worked on Rodney Napper and then Chris Frazier. And finally, after 2 minutes, 41 seconds, they got the cover and the victory in the match. And Tojo won't call them off. They're leaving them in there.
No excuse again. I mean, this is the kind of thing that just gets people so upset with guys like that. And look at Yamamoto egging him on, saying, throw him out, throw him out. And now, Yamamoto with that, get him out of there, Randy, for crying out loud. They've already beat the stew out of them. Now they stand out here and... Oh, that's funny. Yeah, isn't that funny?
Person's having fun, yeah.
Oh, real sportsman. Okay. Let's take a look at that spinning back kick that he nailed him with. Man, look at this. Off the ropes into one. He'll go back over and get the slingshot effect off the other rope. It's being held by Samurai. And here comes Shogun. Wham! And I mean, just absolutely kicked the props right out from under him.
Snapped that head back. It was all over at that point.
I mean, it was over before that. They wouldn't end it. That's what the problem was. Okay, Dave, shoot. Let's go ahead and get into the next match here. We've got another good tag match coming up. I love it. Big action today, buddy.
Boy, another good team here. Look at this. Scott Steiner with Todd Morton up there. Team that weighs in at about 448 pounds. Scott out of Detroit, Michigan. Todd Morton out of Bardstown, Kentucky. And stepping into the ring right now, rugged tag team, total of 478. Out of Montgomery, Alabama, Jimmy Golden. And out of Tampa, Florida, Frankie the Thumper Lancaster. In their corner, not only downtown Bruno, but that man right there, Robert Fuller, the Tennessee stud.
He's dressed fit to kill today. He's got his big hat on, his suit and tie. And referee Jerry Calhoun says, do it to it. Gentleman, Jimmy Golden with Scott Steiner. Also, isn't this the fella that lady beat up there a little bit ago?
Yeah, the one in the yellow suit
downtown Bruno, I see. Well, what's the occasion? You're dressed so fine today.
I am looking real nice, son. I let you think I bought this down at the same shop where you get yours. But I didn't, baby. This is an order. This is a pretty piece of suit right here. Let me move on right now to what I'm out here to talk to you about today. I'm talking about a new man in my stable, Frankie Lancaster. And one of the reasons he's made this stable, his attitude, baby. This man right here is just full of the right kind of attitude. You know what I'm talking about?
You've officially signed him into the stable then, right?
That's right, that's right. You know, I had times where I came out here to do official signings out here, but I figured that days are over, baby. That some people are talking about, what's wrong? That good ball out or ball over there? What you got over there? Come over here, Ray.
Well,
Everything, lad.
that kind of, oh, yeah, using it. Look at Fuller. Boy, I'll tell you, he's over there screaming at the referee.
My hair looks real nice. That was very
Yeah, I know you. I remember you from a little earlier. You're the one the lady beat up, I think. Yeah, I believe that's downtown, Bruno.
That's one referee right there that's woke up now. He's going to be doing his job.
You got him
right.
straight, huh?
I tear that patch off your shirt, boy, and you can find another place to referee.
Well, in the ring right now, Frankie the Thumper Lancaster, the newest official member of the stud stable, going in with the muscle man from the Motor City, Scott Steiner, and he's a rough one.
You know, Lance, I was talking to you about attitude before we were interrupted. That man right there talks big, Frank Lancaster. Therefore, in order to stay a member of this stable, he's going to have to show me big action. Get out of here, come on.
Well, look at this. Hey, you're going to get rid of your cousin, too?
A clear case of double teaming, not that. Referee!
Oh, yeah. It sure was, with Golden and Lancaster in the ring at the same time, but Scott Steiner was able to handle the traffic. And Lancaster and Golden back out here, and there's a big powwow complaining about all the things that happened to them. And the Tennessee stud is saying there's one way to correct it. Get back in there and tear them up.
I'll tell you what, these boys are going to get fired up here in a minute. And there's a Mr. Scott Steiner and this Morton that's going down, and I mean going down hard. I don't like rock and roll anyway.
And there goes Fuller again. He's on a tear today. He's back up there giving a little pep talk to gentleman Jimmy Golden, his cousin. Lancaster throws Todd Morton off. Uh-oh. He grabbed him by the hair and jerked his feet right out from under him. Standing right here and saw it. What was he, patting him on the head?
Jimmy Golden's part. Morton come in there trying to swing at him when he knew he's not the legal man in there in the first place, and Jimmy had to do just what he had to do, and that's jerk that punk down. That's the way to do it.
Todd Morton, an awfully good young rookie, meeting some hard times as the Thumper on the reverse neck breaker slams him down into the mat. Now the smiles are starting to come out. Tag goes from Thumper to Golden, and Golden takes over.
You know something, Lance? That boy there in there wrestling right there, he's not old enough to be in a professional wrestling ring in the first place, and I know it because I wrestled him the other night, and he whines and he cries when you get him in that position right there, and that's a half a man that does that.
Hey, he's one of the best young guys to come along in a while, I'll tell you. That's my opinion. That's true.
There now, tears are dripping on his chest.
Okay, I want to see a whine and cry out of this guy. Big Scott Steiner is in there. Slams the head of Lancaster. Yeah, he is double teaming Bim. You heard what Fuller said. That's a kind of convoluted logic that you can find in the stud stable. Oh, and a pile driver the referee didn't see. Count of one, count of two, count of three. Todd Morton slammed down by Golden. The Thumper and Golden's hands up in the air. And the
23.
4 minutes and 22 seconds. We got to take time out. More wrestling and the big expiration of time still to come.
Big heart of action, 5 big matches, Evansville Coliseum Wednesday night. Return tag team match for the main event. Dirty Dutch Mantell and Rick Morton take on Wendell Cooley and Jerry the King Lawler. Special 6-man penalty match. This is how it works. If Adrian Street loses, Garvin gets his music right. If Bill Dundee loses, he's going to have his head shaved. If Downtown Bruno loses, he leaves town. The Beast loses, the good guys get 5 minutes with Garvin. If the Beauty loses, Dundee gets his suit back. If the lovely Linda loses, Garvin gets 5 minutes with her alone. Beauty and the Beast with Downtown Bruno against Superstar Bill Dundee, the exotic Adrian Street, and the lovely Linda. All that action Wednesday night at the Coliseum.
That's right, Michelson, John. I've been in an awful lot of matches down there at 400 Court Street, but this is the first time I've ever been on a six-man tag with a stipulation like this. Well, if it's a first for this kind of match, let's be a first for how it's going to end. If we beat them all, if Adrian beats one, I beat one, and Linda beats one, there's a whole lot of stipulations end up the same way. There's nobody talked about that, but we're going to find out if that'll happen, because that's exactly what's going to happen. Garvin, I'm taking you out, and Adrian or Miss Linda's going to take one or the other out, and it doesn't really make much difference which one it is. I want the suit back, and I'm getting it back, brother, so Garvin, you're mine, punk.
There's a whole lot of stipulations going on. Goofy and the Beast, what a joke. I mean, when I stride to the ring, I turn heads. When Garvin minces or waddles to the ring, he turns stomachs. As far as I'm concerned, he looks like a fat, horrible little ugly duckling trying to imitate a beautiful swan. If you want to imitate me, Garvin, why don't you try to imitate some of my wrestling skills? Then you might get somewhere.
All that action coming up Wednesday night, Evansville Coliseum. 5 big matches, including the return tag team match with Mantell and Rick Morton against Wendell Cooley and Jerry the King Lawler. CWA tag team match, Robert Fuller, Jimmy Golden with Sylvia against Tracy Smothers and Jeff Jarrett, plus the big 6-man penalty match. See you Wednesday night.
We've got our big expiration of time match coming up here in just a moment. And that's going to put the King, Jerry Lawler, and Wildcat Wendell Cooley against the Beauty and the Beast. And while they're putting down that pink mat, which the Beauty and the Beast always wrestle on, we're going to take a second to talk to the King and Wildcat Wendell Cooley.
What I want to do is I want to see if Dutch Mantell has got any guts at all. Dutch Mantell, if you're half the man you say you are, because you're no longer the champion, you'll come out here right now and bring me my World Heavyweight Championship belt. Is that right? Because, like I said, Dutch, you're not the champion. And as far as I'm concerned, as far as the fans are concerned, and obviously as far as the championship committee is concerned, you never were the champion, brother. You and Rick Morton got together. You pulled your little stunt. Well, it got you by to pose as a champion for 2 weeks. But that's all. So I hope you didn't get too used to having that belt around your waist, because I promise you, you'll never have it around there again if I got anything to do with it.
Well, simple statement from the King about Mantell.
I just want to say something real short and sweet to you, Ricky Morton. You made yourself a nasty bed, pal, and now you're going to have to deal with it.
Let's talk for just 1 second. I know they want us in the ring. The San Quentin Showdown, boys. That's the time where we don't worry about pinning anybody. It's time to start hurting somebody, and there won't be any referee in the ring to pull us off of you. You'll just be there, and you'll be handcuffed, shackled to those ropes, and it'll be me and Wendell Cooley to just have our way with the both of you, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
Okay, it's going to be an interesting match when it comes about. There's no question about that. Okay, this is going to be an interesting match also, as Lawler and Cooley will be in there against the Beauty and the Beast. And here they come out with Downtown Bruno acting as valet Terrence Garver and Mark Goulin.
It's going to be an expiration of time match here as they step through the ropes. Terrence Garvin, Mark Goulin, Beauty and the Beast on one side of the ring. They weigh in at about 465 pounds, and at about the same weight across the way, it's Wendell Cooley in the ring right now, and his partner, the King, Jerry Lawler. Here we go with Cooley against the Beast, Mark Goulin, back to the corner. Garvin holds him up in the corner while Goulin nailed him with a right fist. Look at this. Everybody in the ring. Right off the bat. Now look out. Yeah. Mantell and Morton hit the ring. And go after Cooley and Lawler.
Well, I guess I didn't expect any more, any less out of them. They come jumping in here. The bout hadn't really gotten started. And look at that goofy Garvin, that laugh of his, and the way he skips around up there drives me crazy. Lawler down with Morton pounding on him, and Mantell getting some help out of Mark Goulin over there on Wildcat Wendell Cooley.
Well, Morton is really beating up on Lawler here. He had him grinding his face down into the mat, then hitting him with a right fist. Off the rope. Rick Morton.
Okay, I'll tell you, we're gonna take a break, and we're gonna be back here, and we'll check this action. It's not over by a long shot. Be back in a moment. To have a whole lot more action in there. By golly, we're just flat out of it. Hey, Dave, I want to be sure for anybody who got in here late to tell them that we got the official communication from the Unification Heavyweight Championship Committee, and they reversed that bogus win that Dutch Mantell had. Fine Ricky Morton in here, and those stupid guys take it out on the messenger guy, Coffey, who was the representative, busted his glass.